Dear student, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you everybody? I hope you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. I also fine, Alhamdulillah. Today, I am going to take an online class for the student of class 8, subject Islam and Moral Education, chapter 5, lesson 1, topic Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. I am Ibn Abdul Salam, senior teacher, Iskari School and College, Patna. Dear student, look at the following picture. Can you say who made Jinn community engaged to rebuild the Baitul Muqaddas, Masjid Aqsa? Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam. Our today's topic Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. Now learning outcome. After this lesson, student will know about the identity of Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. Will know about his attaining miraculous power and the power of judgment. We know about the rebuilding Baitul Muqaddas and reign with death. The identity of Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam was one of the reputed prophet of Allah. He was the youngest son of Hazrat Daud alayhi salam. Probably he was born between 970 to 975 BC. Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam was one of the 4 emperors who ruled the whole world. His father Hazrat Daud alayhi salam died when he attained his maturity. Afterwards, Allah made his substitute and instantly conferred on him prophethood and the kingdom of the whole world. Attaining miraculous power. As a prophet, Hazrat Sulaiman was endowed with a special dignity. Allah imparted with him with the competence to understand the language of beasts and birds, birds and insects, and genius and human beings. Allah, the Almighty, pronounces. He, Sulaiman, said, "O people, I have been taught the language of birds, and on me has been bestowed knowledge of everything. This is indeed great manifest from Allah." Surah Naml, Ayat 16. Sulaiman ruled over a vast empire. To rule properly, precisely had to travel from place to place in his kingdom. As a means of precept communication, Allah gave him power to fly through the air. He made the world subservient to him. Wherever he needed to go, wherever he ordered the wind, and accordingly the wind instantly took him on his huge throne, and with his manpower to his described places. Allah the Almighty stated, "I subjected the winds to Sulaiman. In the morning he would cover 1 month distance, and another month distance in one evening." Surah Saba, Ayat 12. Allah also made Hazrat Sulaiman rule over a group of jinns. They used to dive into the deep sea to fetch pebbles for Hazrat Sulaiman. Besides, they were employed in other works. For instance, they used to build high-rise palaces, cups as big as Eastern, etc. Allah the Almighty declared, "And I subjected the evil spirits, Shaitan, who were all builders and diverts." Surah Sad, Ayat 37. To spy on his past kingdom, Allah gave him a bird named Hudhud. The bird brought him the affairs of Queen Bilqis and her kingdom. All of these are indications of his mystic and magical power. His power of judgment. Hazrat Sulaiman's knowledge, wisdom, prudence are very keen. He was endowed with the power to judge precisely. He was very intelligent and wise since his childhood. Once it so happened that two mothers claimed the ownership of a single child. So they came to Hazrat Dawud for justice. Hazrat Sulaiman was there observing the proceeding. Finally, he, Sulaiman, gave the verdict that since the child was one and the claimants were two, the child should be cut into two pieces and be distributed between the two women. Accordingly, he grabs a dagger and was ready to cut the lying baby into two. Just at that moment, one of the women were weeping to him and said, "For Allah's sake, please don't hurt the child. I'm leaving away my claim. Let the baby live and please surrender it to the other woman." Hazrat Sulaiman understood that she was the real mother of the child, so he gave it to her and punished the other women as she restored to a false claim. Another event of Hazrat Sulaiman in his boyhood is once there appeared at two men at Hazrat Dawud's court for justice. One of them was a shepherd and the another was a farmer. The farmer, that means the owner of a cornfield, complained against the shepherd, the owner of a flock of goats, that on account of negligence of the shepherd, the flock of goats got into his cultivated field at night and causes damage to the crops. After satisfying the truth, Hazrat Dawud salam gave a verdict that the owner of the flock of goats had to hand over all his goats to the owner of the cornfield. While leaving the court with the order on their way home, the complaint and the custom happened to meet Hazrat Sulaiman. After hearing all this, he said that he would judge differently and that would be helpful to both. When Hazrat Sulaiman expresses his to his father asked him, "What would be better than this?" Then Hazrat Sulaiman answered, "You should give all goods to the owner of the cornfield. Let him be benefited with their milk, oil, etc. And let the cornfield be handed over to the owner of the goods. He will cultivate and produce crops. When the cornfield will appear as it was before the damage, he will return it to its owner." Hazrat Dawud agreed with this verdict and ordered to execute it. Allah the Almighty says, "And I made Sulaiman realize the solution of this matter, and in every body of them I infused wisdom and knowledge." Surah Anbiya ayat 79. Now, rebuilding Baitul Muqaddas. Before completing the rebuilding of Baitul Muqaddas, Hazrat Sulaiman's father, Hazrat Dawud passed away. Before his death, he fled to Allah, feared to Allah, "O Allah, get it built by my son." Allah, the Almighty, accepted his prayer. When Hazrat Sulaiman ascended on the throne of Jerusalem, he started building Baitul Muqaddas. It is said that the building of the mosque took 7 years and 30,000 laborers. Actually, the Jain's community rebuilt the mosque. Reign and death. For long 40 years, Hazrat Sulaiman shouldered the responsibility and prophethood and reigned all over the world. He rules from 960 BC to 920 BC. His death is a miraculous event. The assigned groups of genius, that means Jinn community, to rebuild Baitul Muqaddas were disloyal. They were only because they feared Hazrat Sulaiman. The rebuilding process would not be finished before his death, but the mystery was that if the jinns came to know about his death, they would not continue the war, which might result in the incompletion of Baitul Muqaddas. So, in pursuance of the directions of Allah, Hazrat Sulaiman Islam was prepared to handle the Arab's solution, and on the eve of his death, he got ready and entranced his mihrab, a special kind of room made of transfer glass. As usual, he stood leaning against his stick for fear. At the perfect moment, his soul left his body, leaning against the stick as he was motionless. It seemed from outside that he was in deep meditation. The genius continued working day after day, thinking him alive. In this way, a year passed away. Meanwhile, the rebuilding of Baitul Muqaddas was finished according to the will of Allah. Hazrat Sulaiman's stick was eaten up by the white ant and fell down, and then the dead body of Hazrat Sulaiman fell down on the ground as well. Only then all could realize that Hazrat Sulaiman expired. He was 53 when he died. Allah the Merciful says, when I caused him, Sulaiman, to die, the white ant that ate up his stick, which revealed his death to the jinns community. Hadith Surah Saba, Ayat 40. He was buried at Qubbat al-Sakhar in Jerusalem, in installing humanitarian justice. Whatever Hazrat Sulaiman Islam has exemplified to us from the essence of knowledge and intelligence is undoubtedly imitable. Now the homework. If the jinns came to know about the death of Sulaiman salam, they couldn't continue the wars to rebuild Baitul Muqaddas. Why? Explain the mystery of Sulaiman's death. Allah Hafiz.